I get to design a product that I'm truly proud of, right? Like, we choose to do something full-time with our lives, we should be putting a product out there that we're truly proud of. We're proud to give people to live in, right? Places where I would live in myself. Well-designed, great floor plans, efficient, the right bedroom to bathroom ratio. Like, I'm done with 3 1s, 4 2s, 3 1.5s. If we have a bedroom, we have a bathroom, right? Because that's what I would want for myself. The right unit mix. If I'm designing a multifamily property, we get to put the right unit mix in there between studios, 1 bedrooms, 2 bedrooms, because we know what the market wants. I'm not inheriting somebody else's building that's poorly laid out. Energy efficient. One of the top reasons why your tenants will leave you is what? It's high energy bills. It eats into their cost of living. It also caps how much you can raise their rent, because the total money that they're paying for their housing is determined not just by the rent that they pay you, but what they're paying you in utilities. Or not, they're not paying you utilities, but what they're paying out in utilities. I put in bold, properly soundproofed. If it's more than a single family house, one of the top reasons, again, your tenants will leave is noise. They don't want to hear their neighbors above them, next door to them. We are almost, and this is poor timing with this analogy, given what's going on in the world, but we're almost like a refugee intake center for people that are coming from us from like shitty apartment buildings. Because they tell us, like, we're moving into your property because we're tired of hearing our neighbors next door argue, watch TV. We know why people are moving into our properties. So we spend a lot of money and we pay a lot of attention to soundproofing, walls, ceilings, and we're constantly experimenting with additional things we can do to soundproof better, right? We're constantly testing to see what's working. Again, maintenance free. If we pay a lot of attention to how we build, and we do, we have a maintenance free portfolio. And obviously COVID threw the entire predictable thing, you know, that's out the window, but still, apples to apples compared to rehabbing, this is a more predictable process in terms of costs and in terms of timeline. Again, relatively, apples to apples. Nothing is predictable anymore. We're done with having a predictable life. And they get to apply a greater leverage than if I were to acquire assets and put 20, 25% down, right? And at the end of the day, it's just much more scalable. So, again, I build larger projects, but our sort of bread and butter is duplexes. You can build them by residential code, which means you can build them cheaply. Still, even today, I'm happy to share my numbers, right? But you can build them affordably. But it's a much more efficient product than a single family rental. I haven't been able to make numbers pencil out on a when you hear traditional build to rent, everybody thinks of what? Single families, right? You're developing like a subdivision out somewhere and you're putting roads in and sidewalks and you're putting single family rentals there. I haven't been able to make those numbers work in Richmond. Infill development with duplexes is much more attractive from a number standpoint. I get to amortize the cost of that roof, the walls, the foundation, new utilities over 2 units. And my dollar per rent here, my dollar per square foot in rent here is much more efficient than if this was a single family home. But again, we get to build it by residential code, which lowers the cost tremendously. And we build a great product. We pay a lot of attention to design, to kitchens. I overspend on finishes. Granite countertops, leathered granite, quartz countertops, large oversized kitchens, big open layouts, right? Nice hardwood floors, modern light fixtures, bathrooms. Every time we can, we try to put a walk-in closet there. Again, we pay a lot of attention to the quality of people's lives, especially since COVID. People are spending so much more time at home, right? We want to give them great, comfortable places to live, so we pay a lot of attention to layouts, getting rid of hallways that are needless, making sure they have big closets, big pantries, lots of storage space. This is a more modern project I finished recently, which is 4 duplexes side by side. Again, like, you don't see people doing this. Outdoor ceiling fans, large oversized decks. This one had 12-foot ceilings on the 2nd floor. Everything we do, it gets pre-leased 3 months before we finish. People walk in, they see the layouts, we show them pictures. This is what we've done in the past. This is what this place will look like. They sign leases. It is very rare for us to finish a project right now and I do not exaggerate, have U-Haul trucks pulling up ready with tenants because everything is pre-leased, right? So this one, again, big kitchens, quartz countertops. This is something that's really important to us. We make it a point to build a superior product in the marketplace. Again, large outdoor decks, et cetera, et cetera. So this is why I've kind of become an evangelist for, and I feel like an evangelist with this piece. I should be walking up and down the aisle, passing like a collection plate out or something. But this is why I've become an evangelist for this business model. Because if you build a truly high quality product, you're going to have an easy time leasing it, right? People fight to live in our units. And now, like, rental demand in general around the country is on fire, right? David was talking about this. There's a major housing shortage. There's a need for this. There's a need for this in almost every market. There's a need for more rentals. But let's say you're in a situation where now there's a lot of supply. If you build a superior product, you're still going to have an easy time leasing it. When you have an easy time leasing something, you get to charge premium rents. What do premium rents attract? High quality tenants. People with great jobs, W-2 incomes, good credit scores, people that make good financial decisions, people that are financially responsible, which means what? They pay their rent on time, right? Oh, no, too fast. So they paid their rent on time, but not only that, you already have a maintenance-free product because it's new construction. But now these people actually treat your property with the pride of ownership. They don't beat up your property. So you have very low upkeep. And because you give them a great place to live, they stay there for a long time. What's the number one cost in your, like how many people here already have rentals? I'm assuming a lot. Okay. So what's the biggest cost in your property management business, in your landlording? Turnover, right? You want them all to stay, unless they suck and then you want them to leave, right? But you want good tenants to stay. So we have high retention because people love living in the product that we give them. And in turn, me as a landlord, me as a property owner, me as a property manager, and we have a property management, in-house property management team that just manages my properties. We have a happy life. We're not chasing tenants for money. We're not evicting people, right? We're not dealing with problem tenants. We're not dealing with ridiculous headaches that you typically associate with like landlord horror stories. And in turn, we have a portfolio that not only can we scale, we actually want to scale, right? Because why would you want to scale a headache? Why would you want to scale a nightmare portfolio? So, and I do not exaggerate when I give you these numbers. For the last 10 plus years, we are at 100% occupancy. We do not have vacancies. Even through COVID, we are 100% collected, 100%, with the exception of one restaurant that had to shut down for 6 months, and we gave them a voluntary rent credit. With the exception of that one tenant. I haven't evicted somebody in 10 years. I don't know how to do it. Where do you go? Like, literally, 10 years I haven't evicted somebody. In Virginia, we have what's called a 5-day pay or quit. Now it's 14, right? Is it 14 now? It's the first legal action you take when somebody's behind on rent. You send them a notice saying, we're putting you on notice, we're now going to initiate eviction proceedings if you don't catch up. I haven't sent one of those out in 5 years. We're 100% collected by the 5th or 6th of the month. And we typically target 80% annual retention. Sometimes we hit 70, sometimes we hit 75, but most of our tenants stay, right? What prevents us from having a higher retention is top of the market rents that we charge, right? Because sometimes people will go somewhere cheaper, maybe their life circumstances changed, et cetera, et cetera. But we typically have very high retention. And again, like I probably don't even need to have the slide here because most of you guys understand this. Most of you already have rentals, but you don't need to be like a big developer. You build or whatever, acquire 10 of these over the next couple of years. For most people, and these duplexes for me on average, clean cash flow right now, $700 to $800 a month. Some new ones we just leased out, they're cash flowing over $1,000 a month, clean. After everything, after I take 10% off of rents from my maintenance reserves. you don't need a big portfolio. Right? Like everybody in this room is capable of building a portfolio where you never have to. How many people have full-time jobs here? Okay. Yeah, get rid of those. I mean, unless you really love it, right?